Shemu'el 2, 2 Samuel chapter 19. And it was reported to Yoav, See, the sovereign is weeping and mourning for Absalom. So the deliverance that day was turned into mourning for all the people, for the people heard on that day, saying, The sovereign has been grieved for his son. And the people stole back into the city that day, as people who are ashamed steal away when they flee in battle. And the sovereign covered his face, and the sovereign cried out with a loud voice, O my son Absalom, O Absalom, my son, my son. And Yoav came into the house to the sovereign and said, Today you have put to shame all your servants, who today have saved your life and the lives of your sons and daughters, and the lives of your wives, and the lives of your concubines, by loving those who hate you, and by hating those who love you. For you have made it clear today that you have neither commanders nor servants. For today I know that if Absalom had lived, and all of us had died today, then it would be right in your eyes. And now, arise, go and speak to the heart of your servants. For I swear by Yahuah, if you do not go out, not one passes the night with you. And that is worse for you than all the evil that has come upon you from your youth until now. So the sovereign rose up and sat in the gate. And they told all the people, saying, Look, the sovereign is sitting in the gate. And all the people came before the sovereign. As for Israel, they had fled each one to his tent. And it came to be that all the people were contending throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, The sovereign delivered us from the hand of the enemies. He rescued us from the hand of the Palestinites. And now he has fled from the land because of Absalom. And Absalom, who we anointed over us, has died in battle. And now, why are you silent about bringing back the sovereign? And sovereign Dawid sent to Zadok and Abiathar the Kohanim, saying, Speak to the elders of Yehudah, saying, Why are you the last to bring the sovereign back to his house, since the words of all Yisrael have come to the sovereign to his house? You are my brothers, you are my bone and my flesh. Why then are you the last to bring back the sovereign? And say to Amasa, Are you not my bone and my flesh? Elohim do so to me, and more also, if you are not commander of the army before me all the days in place of Yoav. Thus he swayed the hearts of all the men of Yehudah as one man, so that they sent to the sovereign, Return, you and all your servants. So the sovereign returned and came to the Yarden, and Yehudah came to Gilgal to go to meet the sovereign, to bring the sovereign over the Yarden. And Shimei, son of Gerah, a Benjamite, who was from Baharim, hastened and came down with the men of Yehudah to meet sovereign Dawid. And with him were 1,000 men of Benjamin, and Ziva, the servant of the house of Shaul, and his 15 sons and his 20 servants with him. And they rushed over the Yarden before the sovereign. And they passed over the ford to bring over the sovereign's household, and to do what was good in his eyes. And Shimei, son of Gerah, fell down before the sovereign when he had passed over the Yarden, and said to the sovereign, Do not let my master reckon wickedness to me, neither remember that wickedness your servants did on the day that my master the sovereign left Yerushalayim, that the sovereign should take it to heart. For I, your servant, know that I have sinned, and see, I have come today, first of all the house of Yosef, to go down to meet my master the sovereign. But Avishai, son of Zeruiah, answered and said, Should Shimei not be put to death for this, because he cursed the anointed of Yahuah? And Dawid said, What have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah, that you are to be adversaries to me today? Should any man be put to death in Yisrael today? For do I not know that I am sovereign over Yisrael today? So the sovereign said to Shimei, You do not die. And the sovereign swore to him. And Mephibosheth, son of Shaul, came down to meet the sovereign, and he had not attended to his feet, nor trimmed his mustache, nor washed his garments from the day the sovereign went away until the day he came back in peace. And it came to be when he had come to Yerushalayim to meet the sovereign, that the sovereign said to him, Why did you not go out with me, Mephibosheth? And he answered, My master, O sovereign, my servant deceived me, for your servant said, I am saddling a donkey for myself to ride on it and to go to the sovereign, because your servant is lame. And he spoke slander against your servant to my master the sovereign. But my master the sovereign is as a messenger of Elohim. Therefore, do what is good in your eyes. For all my father's house were but dead men before my master the sovereign, yet you put your servant among those who eat at your own table. Therefore, what right have I still to cry out any more to the sovereign? Then the sovereign said to him, Why do you speak any more of your matters? I have said, you and Ziva share the land. And Mephibosheth said to the sovereign, Rather, let him take it all, since my master the sovereign has come back in peace to his own house. And Barzillai the Gileadite came down from Roglaim and passed over the Yarden with the sovereign to send him on his way over the Yarden. And Barzillai was a very aged man, 80 years old, and he had sustained the sovereign while he was dwelling at Mechanaim, for he was a very rich man. And the sovereign said to Barzillai, Pass over with me, and I shall provide for you with me in Yerushalayim. But Barzillai said to the sovereign, How many are the days of my life that I should go up with the sovereign to Yerushalayim? I am now 80 years old. Do I discern between the good and evil? Does your servant taste what I eat or what I drink? Do I still hear the voice of singing men and singing women? Why then should your servant be a further burden to my master, the sovereign? Your servant would only pass over the Yarden with the sovereign for a short distance, and why should the sovereign repay me with such a reward? Please let your servant turn back again to die in my own city, near the burying place of my father and mother. But here is your servant, Kimham. Let him pass over with my master, the sovereign, and do for him what is good in your eyes. And the sovereign answered, Kimham is passing over with me, and let me do for him what is good in your eyes. Now whatever you choose of me, I do for you. Then all the people went over the Yarden, and when the sovereign had passed over, the sovereign kissed Barzillai and barak him, and he returned to his own place. And the sovereign passed over to Gilgal, and Kimham passed over with him, and all the people of Yehudah brought the sovereign over, and also half the people of Yisrael. And see, all the men of Yisrael were coming to the sovereign. And they said to the sovereign, Why have our brothers, the men of Yehudah, stolen you away and brought the sovereign and his household and all Dawid's men with him over the Yarden? And all the men of Yehudah answered the men of Yisrael, Because the sovereign is our relative, and why are you displeased over this matter? Have we at all eaten at the sovereign's cost, or has he given us any gift? And the men of Yisrael answered the men of Yehudah and said, We have 10 parts in the sovereign, and in Dawid too. We have more than you. Why then did you despise us? Was it not our advice first to bring back our sovereign? But the words of the men of Yehudah were harsher than the words of the men of Yisrael. Shemu'el 2, 2 Samuel chapter 20. And there came to be a man of Belial, whose name was Sheba, son of Bichri, a Benjamite. And he blew a ram's horn and said, We have no part in Dawid, nor do we have inheritance in the son of Yishai. Each one to his tents, O Yisrael! Then all the men of Yisrael deserted Dawid to follow Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Yehudah from the Yarden as far as Yerushalayim clung to their sovereign. And Dawid came to his house at Yerushalayim. And the sovereign took the 10 women, his concubines, whom he had left to look after the house, and put them in a protected house, and supported them, but did not go into them. So they were shut up to the day of their death, living in widowhood. And the sovereign said to Amasa, Call the men of Yehudah for me within 3 days, and be present here yourself. And Amasa went to call the men of Yehudah, but he delayed longer than the appointed time which Dawid had appointed him. And Dawid said to Avishai, Now Sheba, son of Bichri, is going to do us more evil than Avshalom. Take the servants of your master and pursue him, lest he find for himself walled cities and escape us. Then the men of Joab went out after him with the Kerethites and the Pelethites and all the mighty men, and they went out of Yerushalayim to pursue Sheba, son of Bichri. When they were near the large stone which is in Givon, Amasa came before them, and Yoav was dressed in battle armor, and on it was a girdle with a sword fastened in its sheath at his hips. And as he went forward, it fell out. And Yoav said to Amasa, "Peace, my brother." And Yoav took Amasa by the beard with his right hand to kiss him. But Amasa was not on guard against the sword in Yoav's hand, and he struck him with it in the stomach, and his inward parts poured out on the ground, and he did not do so again, and he died. Then Yoav and Avishai his brother pursued Sheba, son of Bichri. And a man, one of Yoav's men, stood beside him and said, "Whoever is well pleased with Yoav, and whoever is for Dawid, let him follow Yoav." And Amasa was rolling in his blood in the middle of the highway, and the man saw that all the people stood still. So he moved Amasa from the highway to the field and threw a garment over him, when he saw that everyone who came upon him halted. When he was removed from the highway, all the men passed on after Yoav to pursue Sheba, son of Bichri. And he passed over through all the tribes of Yisrael to Avel and to Beth Maacah, and to all the Berites. And they were assembled and went after him too. And they went and besieged him in Avel of Beth Maacah, and they cast up a siege mound against the city, and it stood in a rampart, and all the people who were with Yoav battered the wall to throw it down. Then a wise woman called out from the city, "Listen, listen! Please say to Yoav, 'Come nearby so that I speak to you.' And he came near to her, and the woman said, 'Are you Yoav?' And he answered, 'I am.' Then she said to him, 'Listen to the words of your female servant.' And he answered, 'I am listening.' Then she spoke, saying, 'In former times they often spoke, saying, Let them inquire of Avel, and so it ended. I am of the peaceable and trustworthy ones in Yisrael. You seek to destroy a city and a mother in Yisrael. Why do you swallow up the inheritance of Yahuah?' And Yoav answered and said, far be it from me to swallow up or to destroy. That is not the case, but a man from the mountains of Ephraim, Sheba, son of Bichri by name, has raised his hand against the sovereign, against Dawid. Hand him over, him alone, and I withdraw from the city." And the woman said to Yoav, "Look, his head is going to be thrown to you over the wall." So the woman in her wisdom went to all the people, and they cut off the head of Sheba, son of Bichri, and threw it out to Yoav. Then he blew a ram's horn, and they dispersed from the city, each one to his tent. And Yoav returned to the sovereign at Yerushalayim. Now Yoav was over all the army of Yisrael, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and Adoram was over the compulsory labor, and Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was recorder, and Shua was scribe, and Zadok and Abiathar were the Kohanim, and Ira the Yerahite was Kohen to Dawid.